Have you ever stopped to think that something as ordinary as your daily routine could be quietly working against your health? Most people don't. And yet, for millions of men, this invisible culprit could be quietly aggravating a problem that's often ignored: prostate discomfort. What if I told you that one of the most common habits, something many people consider perfectly normal, might actually be making your prostate symptoms worse? And that the way to fix it could start with just a few simple changes? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, I'll also share a bonus tip, a rare natural ingredient that, when used correctly, can significantly enhance the effects of any prostate-friendly lifestyle, but only if it's used properly. Now, let's talk about what's really going on. Many men experience symptoms like frequent nighttime urination, difficulty starting or stopping urination, a weak stream, or even lingering discomfort in the lower abdomen. And while these symptoms are common, they're not something to be brushed off. Often, they are early signs of inflammation or benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH, as it's commonly known. What makes this even more concerning is that these issues tend to creep up gradually until they suddenly interfere with everyday life. And yet, the very lifestyle choices we make, often out of habit or convenience, can be fueling the problem without us realizing it. One habit in particular has stood out in recent studies, and it's more prevalent than you might think. I'm talking about the regular consumption of highly processed foods, especially those rich in sodium, preservatives, and artificial additives. You know the kind: frozen dinners, fast food, packaged snacks, and yes, even certain so-called healthy meal bars. These aren't just nutritionally empty. They actively promote inflammation, especially in the pelvic region where the prostate sits. Chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the most silent yet significant contributors to prostate discomfort, and it thrives in an environment fueled by poor diet. But it doesn't stop there. These processed foods can also disrupt hormonal balance. The male body is a finely tuned system, and when exposed to excessive trans fats or synthetic ingredients, it can begin to alter levels of testosterone and estrogen. Even small shifts in these hormones can influence prostate health over time. It's no wonder that populations consuming traditional, unprocessed diets tend to report far fewer prostate-related issues compared to those following a Western dietary pattern. It's not just about what you eat, it's about what your body has to deal with afterward. These artificial substances are harder to break down, place stress on the liver and kidneys, and promote systemic inflammation that can quietly erode the body's internal balance. What begins as a minor annoyance, an extra trip to the bathroom, a bit of pressure in the lower abdomen, can gradually evolve into a condition that demands real medical attention. Here's something even more striking. These habits often begin early in life, reinforced by convenience and marketing. Over time, they become second nature. And because the damage accumulates slowly, it often escapes our notice, until it doesn't. This is why awareness is so important. Recognizing that something as simple as a frozen pizza or sugary breakfast pastry could be contributing to long-term prostate discomfort is the first step in regaining control. The good news? Your body responds quickly to better choices, replacing processed foods with fresh, whole ingredients: leafy greens, berries, pumpkin seeds, tomatoes rich in lycopene, and healthy fats like olive oil can start to reduce inflammation and support hormone balance. Small daily actions make a big difference, and the sooner you begin, the better your body responds. So if you've been experiencing symptoms and aren't sure why they're lingering, consider looking at your plate. What seems harmless might actually be holding you back. The power to support your prostate health is, quite literally, in your hands. And don't forget, the bonus tip at the end of this video could unlock an even greater benefit for your prostate health. But we're not there yet. In the next section, we'll uncover something that's in nearly every American kitchen. Something that might seem harmless, even energizing, but could be making your prostate symptoms worse in ways you've never imagined. Ignoring it won't just slow your progress. It could seriously undermine all your efforts so far. Stay with me. Let's take a closer look at something most of us start our day with. It's warm, energizing, and for many people, almost sacred. Yes, I'm talking about coffee. But before you panic, This isn't about giving up coffee altogether. The truth is far more nuanced and potentially more surprising. Because while coffee itself can have health benefits when consumed moderately and correctly, the way many people drink it and what they add to it may be contributing to ongoing prostate discomfort without them even knowing it. For millions of Americans, coffee is more than a beverage. It's a ritual. It starts the morning, keeps the workday moving, and offers a sense of comfort. But here's what most don't realize. When consumed in excess or in combination with certain ingredients, coffee can become a trigger for urinary issues, including those related to prostate inflammation. Caffeine is a known diuretic and bladder stimulant. This means it increases urine production and can irritate the bladder lining, leading to more frequent urges to urinate, especially during the night. For someone already dealing with BPH or chronic prostate irritation, that's a recipe for sleep disruption and frustration. But it's not just the caffeine. It's what we put into the cup that can make things worse. Artificial creamers, flavored syrups, low-calorie sweeteners, these are all common additives in the typical American coffee routine. Unfortunately, many of these ingredients are high in chemical compounds that promote inflammation or disrupt the body's natural hormone balance. Take artificial sweeteners, for example. While they may seem like a smart choice for reducing sugar intake, several studies have linked certain types, like aspartame and saccharin, to increased bladder sensitivity and inflammatory responses. Even more traditional add-ins like whole milk or whipped cream can be problematic if consumed regularly in large amounts, particularly if your body is sensitive to dairy. High saturated fat intake has been correlated with increased risk of prostate enlargement in some research, and while dairy isn't inherently bad, it should be consumed mindfully. Then there's timing. Drinking coffee first thing in the morning, on an empty stomach, can magnify its diuretic and acidic effects. This not only leads to more frequent urination, but can also strain the gastrointestinal system and potentially affect nutrient absorption, especially key minerals like zinc and magnesium that play a role in prostate function. Now here's the twist. Coffee doesn't have to be the villain in this story. In fact, when consumed smartly, it can even offer benefits. Coffee is rich in antioxidants, which help fight oxidative stress, a major contributor to chronic inflammation. The secret lies in moderation, quality, and pairing. Opting for organic coffee, avoiding additives, and consuming it after a small meal can significantly reduce its irritating effects. Additionally, substituting sugary creamers with unsweetened plant-based options or a dash of cinnamon can enhance flavor without compromising health. Perhaps the most surprising element is the interaction between coffee and hydration. Many people who drink several cups of coffee a day neglect to hydrate adequately with water. Dehydration concentrates urine, which can further irritate the urinary tract and prostate. Ensuring a balance, every cup of coffee followed by a glass of water, for instance, can help mitigate this risk. So, what should you take away from this? It's not about quitting coffee. It's about reclaiming control over how you consume it. Small adjustments, like reducing sweetener use, avoiding artificial additives, drinking after eating, and staying hydrated, can make a significant difference in how your body responds. These changes don't just support your prostate, they support your overall well-being, energy, and focus. Your morning routine has the potential to heal or to harm. It's a powerful thing, and once you see it that way, you start to make choices that align with your long-term health goals. And now, brace yourself, because the next tip will uncover something even more surprising. A common drink you may be reaching for throughout the day, thinking it's a better alternative, could actually be disrupting your hormone balance and silently undoing all your progress. Ignoring this next part could mean continuing a cycle of discomfort and imbalance that no supplement or superfood can fix. By now, you've probably started to look at your morning cup of coffee a little differently. And if you've made some small adjustments already, like reducing sweeteners, avoiding artificial creamers, or drinking it after a meal, you're already on a smarter path. But here's the part that tends to catch most people off guard. It's not always the obvious sources that pose the biggest risks. Sometimes, what seems healthy on the surface can be quietly working against you, and this next part might surprise you. Think about what most people turn to when they want something quick, sweet, and seemingly nourishing. Yes, we're talking about fruit juice. More specifically, store-bought orange juice, often labeled as 100% natural, no added sugar, or vitamin C rich. On the outside, it appears to be a smart choice, especially for anyone trying to be mindful of their diet. But here's where the story takes a turn. Most commercial fruit juices, even the ones that claim to be natural, undergo heavy processing. That includes pasteurization at high temperatures, which strips away many of the beneficial enzymes and antioxidants found in fresh fruit. What's left is a sugary liquid, often stabilized with additives and flavor packs that aim to mimic the taste of fresh squeezed juice. These flavor packs are not technically listed as ingredients, which means consumers often have no idea what's actually in their glass. But the real concern lies in the sugar content. Even a small glass of orange juice can contain more sugar than a can of soda, up to 25 grams or more per serving. And this sugar, even if naturally derived, can create blood sugar spikes that trigger inflammatory responses in the body. For men dealing with prostate issues, this becomes especially relevant. Inflammation is at the core of many prostate conditions, and repeatedly exposing your body to high sugar levels can create a cycle of irritation and hormonal imbalance. Insulin spikes also play a role in the body's production of certain hormones that influence prostate size and function. Elevated insulin has been linked to lower testosterone and higher levels of estrogen, an imbalance that can contribute to the growth of prostate tissue. While that may not seem significant after just one glass, over time, regular consumption of high-sugar drinks can quietly alter your hormonal environment. And it's not just orange juice. Other popular choices like apple juice, grape juice, and even some green juices marketed for detoxing often carry similar sugar loads. This is especially important to note for anyone trying to follow a health-conscious diet, but unknowingly fueling chronic inflammation. The packaging might say health, but the body reacts very differently. So what's the alternative? It's simpler than you might think. If you enjoy juice, consider making your own at home using fresh, low-sugar fruits like berries or green vegetables such as cucumber, celery, and kale. Add lemon for flavor and a touch of natural vitamin C. Better yet, drink water infused with fresh herbs like mint or slices of ginger and lemon, hydrating, refreshing, and anti-inflammatory by nature. Another powerful option is herbal teas. Nettle root tea, for example, has shown potential benefits for prostate health by helping to reduce inflammation and promote healthy urinary flow. Unsweetened cranberry tea or hibiscus tea can also support urinary tract function without triggering the sugar and insulin responses caused by fruit juices. The bigger lesson here is not to be fooled by appearances. Just because something is marketed as natural doesn't mean it's beneficial, and just because it tastes good doesn't mean it's harmless. Understanding the true impact of these everyday choices empowers you to take control in ways that medication alone can't match. Every choice you make, every sip you take, can either support or sabotage your health. And while nobody expects perfection, awareness creates change. Starting with what's in your glass might just be one of the easiest yet most overlooked steps in reclaiming your prostate health. And now, it's time to look at another drink that hides in plain sight. One that many people think is a smarter option, especially those trying to cut sugar or lose weight. But what if that choice is actually interfering with your hormones and quietly undoing all your progress? Missing the next tip could mean setting yourself back in ways that few people realize, and your body might already be showing the signs. If you've ever swapped out a sugary drink for a zero-calorie alternative, thinking you were making a healthier choice, you're not alone. In fact, that's exactly what many people do in an effort to reduce sugar, lose weight, or simply feel like they're doing something good for their health. The problem? That low-calorie beverage sitting in your fridge might be doing more harm than good, especially when it comes to your prostate. We're talking about diet sodas and artificially sweetened beverages. On the surface, they sound like a smarter option. No sugar, no calories, and they taste almost as good as the real thing. But the reality beneath that promise is far more complex. Because while these drinks may be free of sugar, they're full of ingredients that can interfere with your body's delicate hormonal and metabolic balance. Artificial sweeteners like aspartame, sucralose, and acesulfame potassium are common in diet sodas and low-calorie flavored waters. While they don't raise blood sugar levels the way real sugar does, they've been shown in several studies to disrupt gut microbiota, the trillions of microorganisms that play a vital role in everything from digestion to immune response to hormone regulation. When the gut microbiome is out of balance, the whole system can suffer. And for men dealing with prostate discomfort, this disruption can mean increased inflammation and reduced hormone efficiency. What's more, some artificial sweeteners may actually stimulate insulin release even in the absence of sugar. This paradoxical effect confuses the body, potentially leading to the same kind of hormonal imbalances, lower testosterone, higher estrogen, that contribute to prostate issues in the first place. Over time, the repeated exposure to these compounds can quietly shift your internal chemistry in a direction that works against your health goals. And let's not forget the other ingredients in these drinks. Many diet sodas contain phosphoric acid, caramel coloring, sodium benzoate, and caffeine, all of which can place added stress on your kidneys, liver, and bladder. Phosphoric acid in particular has been linked to lower bone density and calcium imbalance, which may not seem directly related to prostate health, but contributes to overall systemic inflammation and mineral deficiencies. Now here's something most people don't realize. Frequent urination isn't always a direct result of prostate enlargement. Sometimes it's the bladder reacting to irritants, chemical compounds in beverages like diet sodas that irritate the lining and mimic the symptoms of an enlarged prostate. That means the issue might not be the prostate itself, but what you're putting into your body every day. The good news is that removing or reducing these artificial beverages from your daily routine often leads to noticeable improvements in a short time. Hydration improves, sleep becomes more restful due to fewer nighttime bathroom trips, and many men report a decrease in pelvic discomfort. It's not magic. It's your body finally getting a break from the cycle of irritation and confusion. If you're looking for an alternative, don't settle for something just because it's labeled as healthy or sugar-free. Read the ingredients. Choose naturally flavored sparkling water without sweeteners, or better yet, make your own. A splash of lemon or cucumber in still water or a naturally brewed herbal tea can be both refreshing and supportive of prostate health. It comes down to this: health isn't just about avoiding calories. It's about making choices that support balance, reduce hidden sources of inflammation, and give your body what it actually needs, not just what feels satisfying in the moment. You're not just drinking to quench thirst. You're making a decision about what kind of internal environment your body has to work with, and every decision like that adds up. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. There's a certain kind of food, often labeled as a health food, even praised in fitness circles, that could actually be pushing your symptoms in the wrong direction. It's not a drink this time, and it might just be the reason some men don't see progress, no matter how well they think they're eating. Overlooking this next insight could quietly undo much of your effort so far and may even make symptoms worse in the long term. Some of the most surprising discoveries in health come not from obvious culprits, but from foods and habits we've been told are good for us. And that's what makes them so tricky to identify. They wear the mask of wellness. If you've been watching your sugar intake, cutting back on processed foods, and skipping artificial sweeteners, you're definitely on the right track. But there's still one more thing hiding in plain sight that could be holding you back. It's often found in meal plans labeled as clean or high protein. It shows up in fitness guides, low-carb diets, and even many lunchboxes. We're talking about processed protein sources, specifically protein bars, powders, and pre-cooked packaged meats like deli turkey or chicken breast slices. While they're marketed as healthy and convenient, many of these options come with a nutritional profile that quietly undermines the very benefits they claim to offer. Let's start with the protein bars. A quick glance at the label might show impressive stats: 20 grams of protein, low sugar, high fiber. But the ingredient list often tells a very different story. Many are packed with sugar alcohols, soy protein isolates, and synthetic additives designed to mimic the texture and flavor of real food. Sugar alcohols like maltitol and erythritol can cause bloating, gas, and digestive irritation, effects that indirectly impact pelvic pressure and inflammation. For someone dealing with prostate discomfort, those subtle internal shifts can make a real difference in how symptoms show up. Then there's the protein powder industry. While not all powders are problematic, many popular brands use artificial flavors, thickening agents, and chemical preservatives that trigger inflammatory responses. And when these are consumed daily, especially in shakes made with dairy or low-quality plant-based milks, they can overwhelm your digestive system, disrupt hormone regulation, and even strain your kidneys. It's a lot to process for a body that's already working hard to stay balanced. Let's not forget the deli meats. Even when labeled lean or natural, many of these pre-cooked meats are preserved with nitrates and sodium phosphates, compounds that have been linked to inflammatory responses in the body. Nitrates in particular have been associated with oxidative stress and reduced blood flow, two issues that can directly affect prostate tissue over time. And because these meats are seen as healthy alternatives to fast food, many people consume them several times a week without realizing the cumulative impact. Here's where it becomes more than just a food choice. Hormone-sensitive conditions like benign prostatic hyperplasia can be aggravated by consistent intake of foods that disrupt endocrine function. Some studies suggest that isolated soy proteins, which are common in many protein products, may mimic estrogen in the body. While the research is still evolving, it's a factor worth considering, especially if you're already experiencing symptoms like frequent urination, low flow, or pelvic discomfort. But this isn't about avoiding protein. Far from it. Protein is essential for tissue repair, hormone production, and immune function. The key is choosing cleaner, whole food sources. Opt for wild-caught fish, organic eggs, lentils, quinoa, and grass-fed meats whenever possible. These provide high-quality protein without the chemical baggage. And if you do need the convenience of a bar or shake, look for brands with minimal ingredients, no artificial sweeteners, and transparent sourcing. Also consider how and when you're consuming protein. Spacing it out across meals supports better absorption and steadier energy levels. Pairing it with anti-inflammatory foods like leafy greens, olive oil, turmeric, and berries can amplify the benefits and support your prostate at the same time. This might feel like a lot to rethink, especially if you've relied on these products as part of your wellness routine. But remember, health isn't about perfection. It's about paying attention. It's about realizing that even small, repeated choices can either support your goals or quietly work against them. Now, we're approaching the heart of it all, because even with perfect habits, if you're ignoring the time of day you eat, how your body rests, and what you consume before bed, you might still be making things worse. This final insight could transform the way your body responds to everything else you've learned so far. And skipping it might not just limit your progress, it could bring about consequences you've been trying to avoid from the start. You've come a long way, learning how small daily habits can either work in your favor or slowly chip away at your health. But there's still one piece left, and it's the one most people overlook. It's not just about what you eat, but when, and what your body is doing when it processes those choices. Because if you're making all the right dietary changes, but still eating late at night and skipping physical movement during the day, your efforts might not be doing what you think they are. Let's talk about two things: late-night eating and physical inactivity. Separately, they're common and easy to fall into. Together, they can quietly create the perfect storm for prostate discomfort and poor metabolic health. When you eat late in the evening, especially processed foods, heavy meals, or sugary snacks, your body doesn't have the same capacity to digest and process nutrients efficiently. Instead of fueling recovery or repair, that food sits in your system, often undigested, leading to increased glucose levels, inflammation, and disrupted sleep. Your digestive system slows down at night, and instead of giving your body a chance to rest and restore, it's forced to stay active. This constant internal workload contributes to a buildup of toxins, fluid retention, and low-grade inflammation, all of which can exacerbate prostate symptoms. Now add inactivity to the equation. Sedentary behavior, sitting for long periods without movement, has been directly linked to poorer prostate health. It reduces circulation in the pelvic region, which is vital for oxygenation and detoxification. Less movement means less blood flow, and that can slow the body's ability to heal and regulate itself. When the pelvic area becomes stagnant, it creates a breeding ground for inflammation, tightness, and urinary issues. This combination is more common than you might think. A busy day followed by a late dinner in front of the TV, then hours of sitting or lying down before bed. Over time, this routine reinforces a pattern that makes it harder for your body to reset overnight. Hormones like melatonin and testosterone are heavily influenced by your circadian rhythm, and late eating can throw that rhythm off balance, lowering testosterone production while increasing stress hormones like cortisol. But there's hope, and it starts with small, realistic changes. First, aim to finish your last meal at least 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. This gives your body time to digest before entering its nightly repair cycle. Choose lighter, anti-inflammatory meals in the evening. Think grilled vegetables, lean proteins, or a warm herbal broth. Second, prioritize movement during the day. You don't need to run marathons or spend hours at the gym. Something as simple as walking for 20 minutes, stretching your hips and lower back, or doing light yoga can dramatically improve blood flow to the pelvic area. It's about keeping things active and engaged, helping your body flush out toxins and reduce internal pressure. And now, as promised, here's the bonus insight, something that can amplify all the changes you've been making so far. There's a powerful but lesser-known natural remedy that's been used for centuries: pygeum africanum. It's derived from the bark of an African plum tree and is traditionally used to support urinary and prostate health. Pygeum works by reducing inflammation, improving urinary flow, and possibly balancing hormone levels in men with BPH. But here's the catch. Its effects are best realized when paired with an anti-inflammatory diet and proper timing. Taking it after a nutrient-rich early dinner and ensuring you've stayed hydrated throughout the day makes all the difference. To prepare it correctly, choose a high-quality extract standardized for its active compounds. Take it with food to enhance absorption, and never rely on it as a standalone fix. Think of it as a powerful ally, but one that works best in harmony with your daily habits. You now have a clear path. The power to feel better isn't locked in a bottle or waiting at a clinic. It's in your daily decisions. The food you eat, when you eat it, how you move, and the way you support your body's rhythm. If this journey inspired you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Let them know change is possible. Real, sustainable change that begins with awareness. Like this message, subscribe for more natural health guidance, and most importantly, remember, your body is always listening. Treat it with respect, and it will reward you in ways you never imagined.